Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. So I did something that I haven't done in years today. I went down to the Van Buren pool and tried to swim laps, but you can't really swim laps down at the Van Buren pool because there is really no opportunity, or at least the time that I went down today, which was around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when the temperature was 80 degrees. And there were a lot of people in the pool, people crossing from one side of the pool to the other. There wasn't really a straight shot to do a lap down from one end, from the shallow end to the deep end and back. You risk running into people as you try to go directly across the pool, and there are no lanes. There are no lane dividers. There are no lane lines. There used to be lane lines, but they took them out. I think in around the 90s, the late 90s and early 2000s, they took them out. I think, and you can't if you want to go to an outdoor facility to swim. You can't go to the Radisson pool. Only people who live in Radisson can use the Radisson pool because it's a private development, other as opposed to Van Buren is a public entity, public municipality. Anybody can go to the Van Buren pool and swim, but Radisson is a private development, so they have control over who uses their pool. And I think it's because Rachel and Elizabeth were part of the Sharks program that they were able to use the Radisson pool. Of course, we have the Y, but that's an indoor facility. So I did some research. I think the nearest pool where they actually have lane lines that's outdoor is in the town of Salina, Dwyer Park. Uh, I've never been to the Dwyer Park pool. I went to the Van Buren pool today. I went to the Van Buren pool today for the first time in 6 years. Yes, it was my first time at the Van Buren pool in 6 years today. I couldn't really swim laps. I intended to swim laps, but I couldn't because there were too many people going from one side of the pool to the other. I didn't have a straight shot. There was no opening. There was no straight shot to go from the shallow end to the deep end and back without running into anybody. So I just decided to cool off and just float around the pool instead. But my intention was to swim laps. But I couldn't because too many people were there. Yeah. Yes. I remember going there in 2009 and 2019 when there was not a lot of people where I could swim laps. But it depends on when you go, what time of day you go, what day you go, the weather and everything. The weather and everything. It's uh, all different factors. I did go off the diving board once, and I actually through Facebook research. Have, oh yes, and I think we did that once with Grandma. I think they have, yeah. I think they have the season pass for Van Buren residents. I remember we did that. Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember. Discounted season pass. Yes. Again, I haven't been there in, 7 years actually. Haven't been there in 7 years. It was hot, so I figured I'd go down and swim today. See what it's like. Nothing really much has changed, except they moved the diving board. And according to my Facebook research, there actually used to be a high dive. Uh, I think in 1989, or I'm sorry, 1990 to 1991, they had a high diving board, but they took it out before we moved. Before we moved there, I can't believe. Yeah, so they just moved it a little bit over to the right. To the right, I mean to the left of where they moved it a little bit over to the left of where we remember it, where we remember it used to be. I don't know why they would move the diving board. They moved it a little bit over to the left of where we remember it to be. If you remember it, right in the center of the pool, uh, if you if you remember it, it was once in the center of the pool. Then they just moved it over a little bit to the left, or to the left, getting on the diving board. If you're trying to get on the diving board, they moved it a little bit over to the left. If you're if you're in the pool and you're facing the diving board, it's a little bit more over to the right. So there were two diving boards. Yes, there were two diving boards there. Between 89 and 90. Yeah, there were two diving boards at one point. There was the high dive, which was 12 feet, and then there was a low dive. So there were two diving boards. Yes. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more. We'll see who else can jump on. I don't know who else. A lot of people said they can't listen tonight. So that, yes, that's correct. When we were there, only one diving board existed. Yes, that's correct. A lot of people have submitted votes already for the Bump It or Dump It, which means they probably won't be able to tune in. Uh, but we'll carry on with the show. We'll be back with more. And that was Demi Lovato, Cool for the Summer Rock version. That goes out to Brian, who's listening right now. Thank you very much, Brian, for tuning in. You missed it, but we did songs with summer in the title. Yes, it is a fun song. Last week we did, for the Buffer to Dump It, songs with summer in the title. This was on here, and I thought of you. We also had Summer of '69, Calvin Harris Summer, LFO Summer Girls. I think I'm trying to remember what one. Not not this one. Actually, this song did. Actually, yes, this song did win. But I uh, I think of you every time it comes on. Back in our research days. Well, because Brian, you weren't on for the first segment, I'll rehash. I'll repeat the first segment I was talking about. Today, I did something I haven't done in 7 years. I went down to the Van Buren pool. I don't know if you remember, Brian, when you came to our house, or actually was Mom's house for Thanksgiving, and before we actually went to dinner, we actually went inside the Van Buren Park on a off on a different road, with the hill and whatnot. That's the same park that has the pool on the other side. If you were coming in from a different road, you would actually go to the pool. So yeah, so the pool, I went there for the first time in 7 years. I wanted to swim laps. My original intent was to swim laps, but I couldn't because there were a lot of people crossing the pool. There was not really a straight shot to go from the shallow end to the deep end without running into anybody. So I decided to float around the pool instead, trying to swim laps from one side of the shallow end to the other. And thanks to some Facebook research, there used to be a diving there actually used to be two diving boards, a high dive and a low dive. So so that's what I did. That's what I did today. Going down to the Van Buren pool for the first. Oh yeah, there are very nice pools in the city of Syracuse. I do. Yeah, I also like the Thornton Park pool. It's pretty. That one is pretty good as well. Haven't swum in it, haven't swam in it, but that I remember seeing the Thornton Park pool when I was up at SU. That's it. I'd like to swim in it someday. It looks really nice, and that the Thornton Park pool I think actually has lane lines where you can actually swim laps in it. I think so. I'm good. If you're interested, let's play a game. So I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's see if this works for Brian. I'm gonna activate the game mode, and what you need to put in the instructions in for how you can join the game. So please stand by, and I will uh, put the instructions in the game in the chat so you can play. Now, Brian, I don't know if you're listening on the phone or on the computer, but please let me know if you have that box, the box which should say single players or single players or teams down at the lower right hand corner of your screen. If you're having any problems, please let me know. If you can get in, please let me know. Otherwise, we will abandon this game idea, or I'll try and help you. Can you see? He's off. Looks like we're not playing the game. Looks like he's off. So forget about this. Forget about the game. I will just go back to the music, and I think after this we'll be ready for. No, actually, we won't be ready for. I think we'll be ready for Bump It or Dump It soon. I'm just gonna get back into the music for now. That was Pink with Blow Me One Last Kiss. I'm sorry, Brian. We tried, and when we tried playing the game, and then you signed off. So we're going to try again. Please check your. I don't know if you're listening on the phone or the computer, but please look down at the lower right hand side of your screen and then hear the instructions for how to get in the game. If you want to try to play, okay, you're on a computer. So if you look down at the lower right hand side of the page, there should be a box. It should say single players. You should have two options, single players or teams. And then up here in the chat, here are the instructions. You gotta select the single players. Yeah, this is the game code. So here, again, if you want to get in. No, hold on. I think you did it wrong. Hold on, try. Hold on, 1 second. I think we have to reload the frame and start all over again. So if you can right click in the box, if you're on Chrome, there should be an option right above the inspect option that says reload frame. Go ahead and hit that so we can start all over again and try this again. I think I have to give you a new game code. This requires two people to play, so I'm going to have to play alongside the host. Or we just do it here in the chat. So forget about all these technical things. Let's see if you can get in. Let's see if you can still get in. If you did the reload frame thing, if you right click on the anywhere inside the blue area, right click if you're on Chrome, and then hit reload frame, and then okay. Press single player. Yeah, okay, select. This is what you need. And by doing this, we're wasting time. But this is what you need to do. Where's the cursor? Okay, Brian. This is what you need to. I put the instructions for what you need to do next in the box. If you follow those instructions in the so if you follow those instructions in the chat, it should work for you. You have to press select single play, press single players, put the game code there we go. You're in. Now I have to get in. Please stand by. Now I have to join the game. Please stand by. So I'm going to be the player and the host, which I've been before. So essentially, you go back and forth naming items in a category. That's essentially how this works. That's essentially how this works. You go back and forth putting items in naming items in a category. And the category I will put here, the category is D because you've traveled a lot, I think it's only fitting that we put the category is uh, U.S. destinations. So I'm going to start round one. I think you're up first, Brian. So just put in anything you can think of and press the submit button. Keep in mind you only have 80. You have a total of 90 seconds. Correct. Hmm. Let's say correct. 40. See, oh yes. Now you lived outside of Seattle, didn't you? Oh, this is the pressure. I can't think of anything. Looks like Brian, you're going to win this round. Congratulations, Brian. You won the round 4-3. Do you like this game? Do you think it's interesting? Oh, yes, you're welcome. Did you enjoy this game? Did you enjoy playing this game? Did you like playing this game? Yes. Hot potato. I like that hot potato. I kind of think of it as like a high tech version of Concentration 60. If you remember the children's hand clap game, it's Concentration 64. It's kind of like that. Kind of like a high tech version of a glorified version of Concentration 64. That the children's hand clap game. I don't know if you remember that. But so what we're going to do, we are going to take one more music break, and then it's time for the Bump It or Dump It segment. We already have votes from others coming in, so your votes will count towards or against the other votes that we already have that we already had coming in from earlier in the day. More about that later, but one quick music break, and then we'll be back with Bump It or Dump It. Yeah, interesting fact that you mentioned about this song. The only reason why we're playing this song is because the group Forever Livin' performed it in 2001. And I put all the songs that they dance to, as you hear in the bumper, as you hear in the bumper with Rachel, before each of the Forever Livin' classic hits. As she says, those were all songs uh, that the group Forever Livin' danced to. So the only reason that song is in here is because Forever Livin' performed it along with a bunch of others. So what was the actual movie? So tell us, what was the actual movie they used this music in? That used this music in their production. And while okay, yeah. So I was saying, so mom was saying, interesting video to play, very inspiring for the music and movement. I remember the actual movie they used this music in their production, and I was saying the only reason why the song exists in the station's rotation is because Forever Livin' danced to it in 2001. I would not have even known the song would have existed if Forever Livin' didn't dance to it. I I had no idea what movie that was used. Okay. Moving on to the infamous Bump It or Dump It segment. And the first song that we're going to play is by the Chainsmokers. And we're changing up the form. It's an old, yes, the remix. Oh, the remix. Not the original version. Interesting. Okay. So, starting today, uh, I changed the format of voting for the Bump It or Dump It's because I know there's a lot of people who aren't able to tune into the live show, but I want them to participate. So I try to give the song choices ahead of time. And today I did my Facebook and Instagram story, and I also created a new group. If you're not a member of that group, it's called Fans of My Weekly Radio Show. I will also post the poll of the song choices and artists there. So if you're not able to tune into the live show, you can still participate in the voting process. I know I sent you an invite, Brian, so if you want to check that out later, please accept my invite to join the group. And also, if you know anybody who who wants to tune in, who wants to still participate but isn't able to tune in live, please point them to either my Facebook, Instagram story, or that group. So even though if you can't listen live at during show times, you can still participate, and those votes will count towards the final Bump It or Dump It that will be broadcast live, and the actual listeners will cast. But so more about that later. Let's get the music going. The first song is called "Takeaway." It's by the Chainsmokers featuring Millennium and Lennon Stella. Please enjoy. Thank you for your honest votes. It's a unanimous dump. I appreciate the honesty. Personally, I'd bump it, and this was actually suggested by my best friend Matt. Uh, he seems to like it, and I seem to like, but we're entitled to our musical opinions, so please don't let that influence your personal musical tastes. Now we're gonna move on. We actually had some suggestions come in. I asked for a request. I asked for requests. The requests that came in were the following. Now, before the show today, we actually had Jeff, that's Matt's job coach, and uh, our friend Jeff vote for "Comfortably Numb" by Pink Floyd, and also the After Scott and McCreery cover of the Rolling Stone by Dr. Hook, and "Comfortably Numb" were actually suggested by Laura Woofter, our cousins from Michigan, our relatives from Michigan. So Brian, so the listeners currently on here, could you please pick one of these songs? Because currently we have only one vote. We have only one vote in the system right now, and that's Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. So we need at least one more vote to make it a majority. So Brian, if you're still, also Rachel voted for cover of the Rolling Stone by Dr. Hook. So we need Mom and Brian. We need Mom and Brian to please break the tie and pick one of these songs that we're gonna play next. So please, I ask you now, please make your selections. Yes, I figured out how to charge my razor. Yes. This is it by Scotty Mc. Now we're tied. Now we're in a three-way tie. We need okay. Looks like it's cover of the Rolling Stone won out, and actually Doctor Hook recently died. A few weeks ago, I think. So this is a good tribute for. So this would be a good tribute for him. Uh, he actually died a couple of weeks ago. So this Doctor Hook. So this is actually a fitting tribute for him. This is cover of the Rolling Stone by Doctor Hook. And that's the tribute to Dr. Hook, who recently just passed away. We're going to move on now to the next segment, the next part of the Bumpet or Dump It, and we're going to focus on birthday artists now, aka celebrities who had a birthday this week. We're gonna honor them. We're gonna celebrate their birthdays this week by playing a certain song that was voted by the listeners and also by the Facebook, so by text and Facebook and Instagram voting earlier today. So we're going to begin with Ryan Tedder, who is the frontman of One Republic, and I'm going to give you. I'm going to ask you first. Do you want songs from his band, One Republic, or do you want songs that he wrote and produced for other artists? Because he's also a songwriter who wrote and produced songs for other artists. Now, I can tell you that most of the people who voted earlier went with One Republic, particularly Rachel, Elizabeth, and Jeff. Okay. Particularly Rachel, Elizabeth, Jeff, and Helen all went for One Republic. Now it's up to you, Mom and Brian. Are you going to stick with One Republic, or are you going to go with the other option? One Republic. Well, that makes things easy. So I'll give you four song choices to choose from. Please stand by. Those are your songs to choose from. If you have any other suggestions, if you feel I left one out, you can suggest one. But so far, it's currently tied between the X votes and the Instagram. Did I get a vote for Counting Stars? And I think Elizabeth and Helen actually voted for that too. So that's three. That's the majority. That's the one we're going to go with. Let me see if I have that. First of all, no, I don't. That's why I have to pull it off of the system here. I literally have to go to YouTube and I have to pull it off of YouTube and then put it in the live ID. Here we go. This is Counting Stars by One Republic. sometimes I don't really understand the music videos and how it relates to the song. But thank you very much, everybody, for voting on and off air. What I mean by that is I got Rachel and Elizabeth's. Well, no, I actually got Elizabeth's votes via text just before the show started, and I got an Instagram vote from Helen Wilson and Brian. That makes 3 votes. It takes 2 votes to constitute as a majority. So, with those 3 votes, they all wanted that song. Uh, I I wish that somebody voted for Secrets. I do have a story behind that song. I actually arranged for the drumline to play it, the Baldwinsville drumline to play it back in 2011. And then I arranged for the whole band to play it, but unfortunately, it never actually got in the hands of the band. So I have arranged that song for the full marching band. So if we had played that song, I think I'll play that song towards the end after we do the last Bumper to Dumper artist, and it's Miss Ariana Grande, who actually shares the birthday with Jeanette McCurdy, who co-starred on the Nickelodeon show Sam and Cat. If you remember Sam and Cat, that was the sitcom that both of them were on. Helen Wilson has not joined the show live. I asked her for her vote earlier in the day, and she voted via Instagram. So, that's how I got her vote. So she's not on live. She's not on live right now, but she did submit her votes earlier in the day via Instagram. So, okay. We're going to move on to Ariana Grande. And I asked people earlier what was their favorite album because Ariana Grande has such a big catalog of hits. I could narrow it down to just 4. So I'm going to put the albums in the chat, and please vote for one. Okay, already we got a lot of interesting, diverse votes for this one. Matt wanted to go with the first one, yours truly, which has The Way on it, featuring Mac Miller. I did go to X. X votes were split. That means, so I went on X and polled the X users. They were split between Dangerous Woman. We had Helen vote for Sweetener, and we had 1 vote for Eternal Sunshine from Jeff. But a lot of the majority of voters wanted to go with Thank You Next. So, Brian, if you can confirm, are you going with the majority or are you going with something else? Already we have a 2-vote majority for Thank You. Okay. So that saves it. That solidifies it. So now I have to give you the song choices. I can already tell you that Rachel and Elizabeth have voted for the title track of the album, Thank You Next, which I also have learned to play on the piano. We also have 1X vote for Seven Rings. So, Brian, are you going with the majority or are you choosing a different song? Of course. So looks like with the majority here, uh, we're gonna play "Thank You" next. Probably after the show, I'm gonna play it on the piano again. Uh, but let's get that song loaded in. I think I already have it in the system. I don't have to go to YouTube. I don't think I have to go and pull. I know I don't have to go and pull this one off YouTube. I know I have it in the system, so I can play it within the system. Yes, there it is. Boom. Thank you very much for your participation. And without further ado, this is Thank You Next by Ariana Grande on the Weekend Party on Forever Living Radio. I hope you enjoyed that song. Probably after the show, I'm going to play it on the piano again. I've only made it a simple. It's an easy part. I've only done the chords, and then quarter notes, and then one and a two, one and a three, two and a three, four. It's simple enough for me to play, but I don't play it every day, so sometimes I forget what the chords are. But every time I see that music video, I think back to me playing it. So probably after the show, I'll probably play it on the piano again. That is the show for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, especially to Brian, Mom, and Rachel, and Mazel Tov. I'm signing off. Everyone, stay forever living. Hopefully, we'll see you back here next week. And remember, if you can't tune into the show live, please check my Facebook story, my Instagram story, and the new group that I've invited Brian to, and most of the people who do listen to the show. It's called Fans of My Weekly Radio Show, and I will post the song and artist choices ahead of time so that you can still participate even though you aren't able to tune into the show live. You can still make your voice heard and participate in the voting process. So just keep that in mind for next time, that moving forward, usually either the day of the show, the morning of the show, or maybe the night before. So it's either going to be the night before the show or the morning of the show, which I'm going to try to be more consistent and do it on Saturdays from now on. If you're not able to tune into the show live, but you still want to participate, please check my Facebook story or my Instagram story or X. If you're on X, you can vote. You can also vote on X. That's how I got some of the votes today. Or you can also join the new group called Fans of My... The new Facebook group called Fans of My Weekly Radio Show, and I will give you the choices to vote there. Have a good night, and thank you very much for listening. We will see you next week.